Since we last spoke to LifeAID at BevNET Live in 2016, the company entered, they've been moving fast. The company entered traditional brick and mortar retail, raised capital, released a number of new products, and now it has its sights set on deepening its relationships to C-store and mainstream retailers. In terms of liquid beverage brands, I can't think of a more successful shift in retail format from D2C to broader distribution. In 2018 alone, the company reported a 169% increase in retail sales, and it's aiming to double its retail presence domestically to at least 20,000 doors this year, including Walmart, Whole Foods, Kroger, and Sprouts. This is really remarkable, and it continues to show a company that's extending far beyond its initial group of CrossFit consumers. So, how did these two guys go from what was sort of a larky experiment and finding something that they might want to drink after they beat each other up at the CrossFit box into a multi-million-dollar brand? And how did they then take it beyond that CrossFit box that they were so deeply rooted in? Orion Melehan and Hinde are joining us to provide a set of takeaways that are going to explain that and help all brands to grow. So please welcome them.
What's up? It's Shark David John here. I want to give a big shout out to Aaron and Orion, who are going to light up the BevNET stage with some tips and tricks on how to make it in the cutthroat world of beverages. And remember, if you're having too much fun out in New York City, don't forget to drink some Party 8. All right, wishing you all the best.
Aaron and Orion, what up, though? It's Big Snoop Dogg. I want to wish y'all good luck on stage in New York. We know you're out there with that new zero, and you're making the world a healthier place. You're the best at what you do. Make this the best speech ever. For shizzle, my dizzle. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen of BevNET, fighting for the category kings of functional beverages. Coming to you all the way from Santa Cruz, California, USA. The Vikers of vitamins, the Sultans of supplements, the undisputed heavyweights of LifeAID Beverage Company, presenting Aaron Hinde and Orion Melehan.
Jeff, thank you for your kind introduction, but we thought it only appropriate to have Damon and John from Shark Tank help out with our intros because of Damon and shows like Shark Tank, entrepreneurs are becoming the new rock stars. And of course, we had to throw Snoop in there because everyone at BevNET seems to be a little high on CBDs these days. By show of hands, how many entrepreneurs are in the room? Let's give all them a round of applause because without them, there is no BevNET. And all of you out there that are the entrepreneurs, you are becoming the new rock stars, but if your journey has been anything like our journey, you could probably relate to this slide a little bit more than the rock star slide. Hopefully you're having more hell yeahs than oh fucks these days. But one thing I think we can all agree on, whether you're a female or male entrepreneur out there, is that entrepreneurship does take balls.
We do have golfer aid, by the way.
That's right. That's right. We thought, in all seriousness, we thought it only appropriate, being a functional beverage company, to really pay tribute to the founder of functional beverage, John Pemberton, who back in the late 1800s had a concoction of cocaine and cola seeds and created quite the following. Some may even say an addictive following. And let's also pay homage to his great-great-grandson, Tony Montana. But if you actually do research the history of Coca-Cola, one conclusion that you will definitely come to is that to build a durable brand, you need to follow the laws but break the rules.
So when Coke formulated that infamous concoction, they were actually following the laws. Those aren't the laws that we're talking about. We're talking about the laws of business, the constants, how to manage a balance sheet, a path to market by focusing in on a single target market while launching a brand. Really, there's no hard and fast rules when you're launching a beverage brand these days. In fact, we like to think that to build a durable brand, that you have to break some of these rules. You have to break from prevailing wisdom. Why? Because following the rules is really damn expensive. We started LifeAID in a box, a CrossFit box, and the rule that we broke at the time was that you can't sell a beverage online. Think about that. Only 8 years ago, that was the prevailing wisdom. Beverage is an impulse buy. Beverage is too heavy to ship. You can't get the trial. But we said, no, we're going to focus on a narrow market. We're going to sell to CrossFit gyms online through our wholesale portal on our website. Those early adopters are going to sample their members, and those members are going to come back to our website and purchase cases. So we want to walk you through 6 key learnings that we found through our journey building this brand through the CrossFit space, and then we'll talk to you about some of those competitive advantages that we've taken through our route to market as we've extended into retail. Now, keep in mind that last time we were here and we talked about the rules that we followed to build our brand, we had about 20 competitors that tried to do exactly what we did out of our playbook into CrossFit. Again, the rules have already changed by the time we've told you this. Trust me, we wouldn't be here exposing ourselves if they hadn't.
Rule number 1, building out a customer service team should be your first priority. So many of us are focusing on building out the board or the executive team or a sales team. We focused on building our customer service department as our very first hires. Why? Because it provided immediate customer feedback, okay? We've all heard that if you get 1,000 raving fans, you can have traction and build a durable brand. I'll tell you what is just as powerful on the opposite end of the spectrum is 10 pissed off customers that are savvy on social media, okay? Our customer service team is available through live chat, direct message on Instagram and Facebook, obviously the telephone, email, and I'm very happy to say that with over 1,400 Trustpilot reviews now, we maintain a 9.5 out of 10. And that's something that we look at weekly in our customer service meetings. We're constantly providing what we call emotional deposits into our customers' bank accounts. Because guess what? Ultimately, there will be a withdrawal. FedEx will drop your package. Something gets screwed up. But as long as you continue to maintain a positive balance in that emotional bank account, your customers will stay with you for the long time. By the way, Trustpilot themselves, the review site, if you're not using them, you should be, only has a 7.8 out of 10 for their reviews. Number 2.
So when we launched this brand with our life savings, we were scared to get on retail shelf. Why? Because your largest competitors are there. They're going to outspend you. They're going to outmarket you. They're going to maybe some of them might even pull your product from the shelf. Yeah, it does happen from time to time. So we really wanted to incubate the brand in a very narrow channel, almost out of sight of the larger competitors. Really, we only had one upstart competitor in that space. These big incumbent brands actually want you to prove yourself out in these spaces before maybe they even partner with you. And CrossFit is such a small channel, certainly was at that time, that even if they wanted to play in that channel, they weren't set up organizationally to penetrate that channel. So it essentially was a safe harbor for creating trial and awareness for the brand. Number 3.
ROI-driven marketing. This is very important, especially when first starting out. It's so tempting to say, okay, I got this brand, I want to put it on billboards and get television commercials. Brand building is the quickest way to go broke, okay? When we first started, we focused solely on ROI-driven marketing, meaning for every dollar we spent, we needed to get at least $1 or more back in return. In the early days, back in 2011, 2012, we were able to run a $20 Facebook ad, acquire a new CrossFit gym that would generate $2,500 in annual revenue. Who likes that math?
Number 4, keep a bigger piece of the pie. Well, as we can tell you, retail is extremely expensive, high barrier to entry, need to raise a lot of money. Well, going through non-traditional channels, there aren't those barriers to entry for startup brands. There's no slotting fees, for instance. There's no bad debt, no receivables. Why? Everyone is paying in advance on your website. So very short cash cycle that we were able to build a significant sales story before we ever went raise money and before we ever pursued our retail ambitions. Number 5.
Co-creation on innovation. How many of you are co-creating with your audience, with your consumers? Anybody? If you're not, you should be. Minimally, you should be surveying them frequently. A great example of co-creation on innovation is our FitAid RX product. This product was sold exclusively in the CrossFit channel for several years. We sent out a survey to 7,000 of our CrossFit gyms and asked them, hey, we're going to create a new product. What do you think the name of it should be? What should it look like? What additional functional ingredients should we put in it? And we got 3,000 people, 3,000 gym owners replying and had buy-in on the name of this product, its trade dress, and its additional functional ingredient, which happens to be creatine. When we launched this product, it obviously launched to massive, massive success because a lot of our owners already had buy-in as part of that creation process.
Number 6, as our friend Jerry Kermouche likes to say, make your mistakes off Broadway. I'll give you 3 examples of business killers had we started in retail. Number 1, probably being the most important one for any upstart beverage brand. Make sure your UPCs are compliant with Kroger and Walmart, because we found out the lesson 5 years later that we didn't even have compliant UPCs. Well, no one in a CrossFit gym cares about a UPC, right? So thankfully, we got rid of all that product through our inventory because we have a guaranteed distribution channel, right? Our e-com business at the time. Number 2, it takes a while to figure out your formulations. The very first formulation of FitAid includes glucosamine, and most glucosamine is derived from shellfish. And we didn't know there was other corn-based options for glucosamine without an allergen statement. So we said, okay, that's fine. People are taking glucosamine. They're not going to care. Well, the customer service department that he was talking about was getting inbound inquiries from people that were allergic to shellfish that discovered it after drinking the can. And so we quickly got rid of that product.
Anyone.
The retailer wouldn't be very appreciative of that either. Number 3, it took about 10 different times at our co-packer who's in the room to get our product tasting right. And I'll tell you, the first time we tasted FitAid, we thought we were sunk as a company. Thankfully, we had raving fans already. But it tasted like fish sauce from the DHA and pineapple. And unless you're at my dinner table eating my wife's delicious Malaysian cooking, those 2 combinations shouldn't exist in beverage. So let's talk about how we went from CrossFit into big box retail, how that we used our route to market to be a competitive advantage going into the retail channel. Next slide. So timing the trends, timing your to go to market probably is the primary driver of success. You know, the big established brands pretend that their success happened in a vacuum. Well, a lot of that success happened with timing. In 2011, when we launched the product, there was no really post-workout drinks, maybe except for protein, but nothing with our functionality or positioning. So it was a very small, nascent recovery drink market. We only had one other competitor in the space. Retailers weren't ready for the product. Are we an energy drink? Are we a sports drink? No, we're neither. So the sets weren't ready. The buyers weren't ready. Well, what happened as we just patiently built the brand off Broadway was that it turned out that a lot of our consumers, a lot of our CrossFitters weren't just shopping at these retailers, but a lot of the buyers were CrossFitting and falling in love with our product, demanding that we go to buyer meetings. So in 2016, we made the strategic decision to go into retail. And at that time, by 2016, the market had already moved a tremendous amount in the last 5 years. Think of all just the sports drink category was being disrupted, and the performance energy drink category was starting to catch fire. So those conversations were ready, the product was ready, and we were ready as a team to execute.
Another thing that really served to our advantage on focusing D2C and direct-to-gym for the first 5 years of business is that we were able to amass a massive database from our consumers of emails and snail mail addresses. We are able to mobilize those troops, all those fans, to retail when we launch a new retailer. In addition, we have combined on all our social media channels over 500,000 followers now, FitAid being our largest at just shy of 200,000. So when we launch a retailer, we'll send out an email blast, we'll put a post on social media, and that way we are getting turns from day one. We're not sitting on the shelf just praying that we're going to actually get turns.
So the goal of any product or company is to capture and extract as much value from the category they play in or the category that they're building. Well, we think the goal of the entrepreneur should be to extract as much value as you're creating, not raising money too early. We always wanted to be in charge of our own destiny. So by incubating the brand, by generating about $10 million in sales at that time before we ever raised a dime of institutional money. We were ready in 2016. We knew our entry into retail was expensive, so we raised about $8 million. $4 million went on our balance sheet, and we filled the coffers, and we were ready for our pivot.
Back in 2016, at the beginning, we didn't have any sales reps. Shout out to Dan Leisure and Shorty J out there for being our first two guys on the sales team.
Jordan Costa, too.
Scaling up to 2019 and going from very niche in CrossFit gyms and direct-to-consumer to most major retailers has been very expensive and can be very expensive. So we've just concluded a round, our most significant round to date, just recently here.
That's right. And so let's talk about what we're planning on doing with this money in 2019 and beyond. So really our hero SKU, and it continues to be today, is FitAid, post-workout recovery drink. But we always had the broader vision of building a platform, which is vitamins you'll actually enjoy drinking for different need states and use occasions. Up to this point, about 90% of all of our marketing budget has been following where the consumers are today. Focusing on FitAid. Well, this year, we're spending a significant amount of resources proving out this platform, that we're a platform that is fully extendable, elastic. So this year, we're spending a lot more money. The next SKU that we're really focusing on building that sales story that's doing tremendous in retail already is FocusAid, and we're excited to sequence the brand and pay attention and building out the other SKUs for different avocations, for different communities.
Let me back up. Oh, there we go. So in 2016, we really didn't have any retail presence. Thank you to Whole Foods, David Woods, the buyer, for putting us in our first division of Whole Foods, and Vitamin Shoppe being our first retailer that really brought us on. Fast forwarding to today, we are in most major retailers now, and if you look at how the sales have shifted from a channel perspective, in 2016 we were doing about 85% of our business that year was D2C and direct-to-gym. This year, over 50% by the end of the year of our business will be more traditional retail.
Taking that money and building a high-caliber team. The last time we were on stage, we probably had about 20 employees. We're approaching 70 now. We're investing heavily in our team ahead of the sales curve. You can see as our team, this is not even up to date. We have about 24 people on the sales team. These folks are our area sales managers. Marisa Drake is here today, one of our local area sales managers. We got regional marketing managers, we got DSD, distribution, and we have key account managers. So a tremendous amount of high-touch relationship building with our partners out there. Merchandising is a big push, really building a billboard effect on the retail shelf. Getting more consumers into our fold is really what keeps us excited moving forward and extending beyond our original functional fitness platform.
We've also built out our LifeAID brigade now in 8 markets. This is our sampling team on the front lines, interacting with customers, doing demos, working events for us, and it's a great entry point into our company. And really starting to focus on awareness drivers. We actually have a commercial now that I ripped on earlier, running on ESPN. We've gotten some PR in the New York Post recently, Fox News, and we continue our long partnerships as the official recovery drink of the CrossFit Games, and our longstanding partnership with Spartan Races, the official recovery drink of Spartan as well.
Let's talk about innovation. So when we first launched the brand in 2011, we were one of the first, if not the first, mid-calorie drinks. We've always had a natural, better-for-you platform. Our original drinks are low in sugar, low in calories, 9 grams from organic raw agave and stevia. But we understand the market continues to shift to lower and lower sugar. So 6 weeks ago, we launched our first SKUs of FitAid and FitAid RX, again extending out the FitAid line. This product has 0 sugar, sweetened with natural monk fruit and stevia. I challenge you to try it because there really is not hardly any trade-off between our low-calorie products and our 0 sugar products. Also, we are launching at Expo West 2020 the full line in 0 sugar. And I'd like to point out a lot of the performance energy products on the market today aren't following that natural platform. They're sweetened with sucralose, bad for the microbiome. A lot of studies, we want to stay away from that. We want to keep our products clean. That's always been our mission, is to kind of take hip, sexy, and cool and match it with the kombuchas and coconut waters and really be the intersection of health and wellness and mainstream.
You know, this is a picture back in probably 2012 when I had black hair and Orion actually had hair. So we've been together. Cool. We've been friends since 2009. We've been in this business together since 2011. Time flies when you're having fun, huh, buddy?
It does, and what we like to say about partnership. We started this company. It was the 2 of us. Now it's almost 70. Boards meet once a quarter, and partners check in every day. And so I would say that that's extremely powerful, making sure that we are always aligned on a strategic objective. Our day-to-day management responsibilities are different, but we're checking in every single day to make sure we're in alignment. I'm usually cautioning him not to jump off a cliff, and he's pushing me to go faster and faster. So it's a really good partnership.
Alignment does not mean agreement, I'll say that. But we both trust each other, we respect each other, and we come from a place that we passionately want what's best for the company. And when you hang out long enough, sometimes you almost become like brothers, or at least stepbrothers. One of our creative people put that together. It
still lives in the office, and it pisses me off, but anyways.
But thank you for your time today. I think we got a few questions with Jeff. If anyone has any questions, we're very accessible and available. Always feel free to ping us on Instagram or shoot us an email. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great work, guys. Thank you.
Hey, Aaron, let's do this.
We got to get a selfie for our Instagram here.
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's sweet. We're definitely getting down to
let's go the opposite way because the crowd's more impressive.
Okay, all right. Let's do this. Are you in the middle, Jeff?
Okay.
All right. We'll blast this out to 500,000.
Yes.
There we go.
Like
the
evolution of aging men. Guys, thank you. That was just tremendous. There are a lot of really great lessons in there just beyond those first 6, You're entering a zone, and you alluded to it a little bit, where you're going to start butting up against bigger brands and like really high distribution organizations. And I wonder how that's affecting your strategy. Do you take the offensive with regard to natural products, or do you kind of just stick to your knitting?
Well, we continue to really guard our core community. I mean, we actually met in a CrossFit box in 2011. You know, we both run Spartan races. Like, that core community is very important to us, and creating a moat around there. It continues to get more expensive to, you know, play in those particular categories, but that's a powerful community and a powerful consumer base. So, you know, it's kind of like the jab, 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 right hook approach. You know, we play where we know we can win.
And we're investing significantly under, you know, we know what we're doing. We know what it takes to scale a brand. We are succeeding in retail. People want better for you products. They want natural options, and they want it in more conventional retailers. So we've had tremendous success with our rollout in Walmart, and we know wherever we go in, we play to win, and that's what we're going to continue to execute on.
Yeah, some interesting thing that Walmart specifically, you know, 75% of our FitAid sales at Walmart are actually 4-packs, which is pretty awesome. And if you look at regular, you know, just up and down the street type retailers, Focus Aid is selling at about 80% the volume of FitAid with really no marketing dollars behind it to date. So we're really excited to put a push behind Focus.
How much do you do channel segmentation for different parts of your platform?
It depends on the SKU. So we saw OTG. We're with OTG. What a great way to discover immunity aid in that environment.
The airport.
In the airport environment. Of course, we still have our Golf-Raid SKU, which is a cult classic, believe it or not. And while golfing for many people, including he and I, is an infrequent use occasion there, what a great way to discover the brand and pull them into maybe higher frequency use cases like a FitAid after working out.
Which even Golf-Raid is still a 7-figure brand.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
dog paddling at golf courses.
Yeah.
We haven't even figured out our distribution equation for touching all those golf courses yet.
How's your spend changed? All right, I mean, you spent so much time building up a sales force, and customer acquisition is not cheap online.
Well,
so.
I would say that we are investing heavily, and we're prepared to spend. The difference, and one of our competitive advantages, we have very high margin cash flows coming into the business. So we can do this with nearly our own resources and not have to continue to dilute and dilute.
I mean, our online business can help subsidize the more expensive side of the business going into brick and mortar.
Yeah, so you get that flywheel turning. One last question. You two are the co-founders that we've had on stage. I believe the only co-founders we've had on stage together through this event. How do you stay together?
That's easy. I mean, we live in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Our wives are best friends. We met because our daughters became best friends in kindergarten. They're now sophomores in high school. And we just made a commitment that both of our families, we would never let business or disagreements get in between us.
And how often has that happened since then?
Well, I'd say at a couple of recent board meetings, like the board members are like, are they dissolving? What's going on? Because we get into very heated discussions, but we always come back to
So
the
Alan
table.
Karp specifically said, he said, you know, when you guys first did that, I was a little concerned, but now I see it all the time, so it's no big deal. I mean, we're both very passionate people, so, and again, we want what's best for the company, and, you know, sometimes I've got my ideas about something and he's got his ideas, but at the end of the day, the best idea always prevails. We come in full alignment with it. The team's in alignment around it, and we move forward. You know, it is like a family. You know, sometimes you get in.
And we do have a board, so when there's disagreements, we can always lean on them to interject.
Refer to a higher authority.
Hey, both of you, terrific presentation, terrific success, and I hope there's much more.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.